Hi everyone, going to do a series now on Bobby Fischer, who is regarded as one of the greatest players of all time. He was born in 1943 and died in 2008. He was born in Chicago and died in Reykjavik, capital of Iceland. And during his career, he was very successful and won the US Championship several times, including a famous 11-0 sweep in 63-64. Which I'm sure I'll be doing plenty of games of over the course of the next few weeks. First of all, we'll start off at the in 1956 with Game of the Century, where he was playing Donald Byrne with the black pieces, who was an IM, and Fischer was just 13 at this point, and prepared to be blown away by the brilliance, it says. So Byrne opened with Knight f3, and we get a transposition to the Grunfeld defense Russian system after these moves. This Queen B3 signals the Russian system, which is a very dangerous weapon against the Grunfeld. C6, E4. You see White's got this imposing pawn centre, but has misplaced his queen in the process. Knight BD7, Rook D1, Knight B6, Queen C5, Bishop G4. And now comes Byrne's only real mistake of the game, but it does get punished rather brutally. According to notes by Shipov on ChessBase or Megabase, a game between Glenn Fleer and P. Morris in Dublin in 1991 continued like this. And White has a slight advantage of his bishop pair. But Byrne's move Bishop G5, although it looks pretty harmless, you got to remember that Black is safely castled and White still has two moves to castle. And this is violating the principle of not moving you shouldn't move the same piece twice in the opening. And now you might want to pause the video and try and guess Fischer's next move. It's really incredible. Well, now we resume. Fischer played Knight A4. The point is to undermine E4 and then Bishop takes F3 and Knight takes G5 will win back the piece with Black gaining an important central pawn. But of course it has to be calculated well. It's not as simple as that because there's tricks on E7. So if Knight takes A4 been played, we have Knight takes E4. If Queen takes E7, then the Queen comes out with check. After B4 we take the Knight. This Knight is taken as well, but then White's Queen gets pinned, forcing Bishop E7, and now Bishop takes F3, G takes F3 and Bishop F8. And White is lost. If the Queen goes back to C1, then we have simply just check and takes, and Black is now a pawn up with a good position. So Queen A3 was played. After Knight takes C3, B takes C3, Knight takes C4. Black has won the pawn, but now this had to be calculated. Bishop takes E7, forking both the Queen and the Rook. So now Queen B6 is played. Because if the Rook is taken, then the Bishop takes F8 on the Queen. After Queen B3, there's a nice tactical shot now with Knight takes C3. Because Knight can't be taken, because then it'd be, after Queen takes C3, we've got Bishop B4. And now Bishop has a pawn for the exchange, and White's Rook is attacked, and Rook checks coming next on the file. It's a very nasty position. So Bishop C4 was played. And now Knight takes C3, because if Queen takes C3 we've got again the E file, which shows why White needs to castle. Bishop takes F, with Queen E3 we've got Queen C7 wins the piece back with a great position. This White has castled, but now the problem is now he's a Rook behind, not good. So Bishop C5 was played with check, King F1, and now it seems that Fischer is in trouble, that his Queen and Knight are both attacked, and there's not much he can do. And if Knight B5, we have Bishop takes F7, if King H8 we take the Queen, and then the Rook. And if the King takes, then White can move his Queen out with check, and then this goes with check as well, and then back to Queen is going to go. It's just nasty. But now another time to pause the video and try and guess the winning move. Fischer played Bishop E6, leaving his Queen to be taken. But the thing is, this is now if bishop takes e6 is played for start, queen b5 check. In fact, with king e1 we've got queen e2 mate, but now there's a smother checkmate pattern with this. Now bang, and white gets smothered checkmated. And if queen takes c3, we have queen takes c5, exploiting the pin on the pawn. And after this, white is a pawn down with a miserable position. If white just moves his bishop away, then knight b5, and black is an important pawn up. So bishop takes b6 is tried, but now comes the a famous windmill tactic. Bishop takes c4, king g1, knight e2, king f1. Before grabbing the material, we take this pawn first. King has to move. If rook blocks, then we just take here and here. King g1, we just go back. Then we use this one. We take the bishop, now run the queen. Queen has to move. The point being is we got rid of that pawn now, because now the knight is protected on c3. Queen b4, we move the rook to protect the bishop. Queen takes here, and then we take the rook. Black has a rook and two bishops and a pawn for a queen, which is just decisive material advantage. And white could have resigned here, but he plays out till checkmate. I'll just skip over the many moves. More pawns fall. If you spike check, so easily winning for white this, but there's a nice mating pattern at the end. Here it comes. A nice checkmate. And what a game, a very beautiful game by a 13-year-old, and shows how strong he was at this point, and it wasn't long till he became GM. But I hope you enjoyed this game of the century, and please leave in the comments some thoughts. Thanks very much.